YouTube, we're here. Hip hop's most embarrassing beefs, bro. Another rough video from Maddie, but I know I'm gonna cringe at this shit, bro. This is gonna be a hard watch for sure.
From Diggy Simmons trying to diss J. Cole after Cole hooked up with his sister and getting clowned for it, to Rich the Kid getting jumped by a 5'4" Lil Uzi Vert and running away, there have been plenty of...
I did not know about... Well, I knew about that, that first one because of the other videos I saw talking about it. Which I was surprised. I was hella surprised there. But, what? Who?
Getting jumped by a 5'4"
Who's getting jumped?
Cole hooked up with his sister and getting clowned for it, to Rich the Kid getting jumped by a 5'4" Lil Uzi Vert and running away, there have been plenty of embarrassing beefs in hip-hop. So today we're going to be looking into hip-hop's most embarrassing beefs, starting off with Diggy Simmons versus J. Cole. Diggy Simmons is the son of Reverend Run, one of the founding members of Run DMC. He had the spotlight on him ever since he was a child because he started his acting career, and while he did have some success of his own in music, one of his most notable moments was his beef with J. Cole, which in my opinion might have been one of the most embarrassing in hip-hop history. Keep in mind,
What? Is this a re-upload? Dude, this was in his other video. I literally, it's the exact same video. I'm skipping that because that's literally the exact same. But this is all new. I didn't know about any of these. Nick Cannon and Eminem. What reason would they need the beef? Like, what? Like, what? When? Like, why?
Beef with Eminem. Nick Cannon has done pretty much everything in the entertainment industry, including rapping, acting, hosting a show, comedy, and a bunch of other things. Probably his most notable show is Wild 'N Out. However, Nick also got into a beef with Eminem, which didn't end up so well for him. It all started over Mariah Carey, who Eminem has claimed to have dated for months, but she has always denied these claims on multiple occasions. Years after their alleged relationship, Nick Cannon came into the picture when he started dating Mariah and eventually married her. Because of this, Eminem dropped a song called Bagpipes from Baghdad in 2009. This track went pretty hard at both Mariah and her newly wedded husband,
Oh, Eminem dropped that. Okay.
Nick, alluding to Mariah's struggles with alcoholism. During the song, Eminem said a bunch of wild things, most of which were directed at the two. He said, "Nick Cannon better back the fuck up. I'm not playing. I want her back, you punk. Nick, you had your fun. I've come to kick you in your sack of junk. Man, I could use a fresh batch of blood. Nick Cannon, you prick. I wish you luck with the fucking whore. In the bed with two brain dead lesbian vegetables, I bet you they become heterosexual. Nothing will stop me from
He's spitting for real.
you. Lure the little boy with the chocolate chips ahoy chip."
No, I'm not gonna lie. This is not Eminem Shang Su right here, bro. This is not his best, dude. This is bad. This is bad. Isn't he a grown ass man? Talking about how I want her back. Kick you in your sack. Oh wow. Yeah, bro. Not really lyrical here.
Nothing will stop me from molesting you.
Okay, and it turn for the worst, I guess.
Lure the little boy with the chocolate chips ahoy chip cookie lookie even took me a Polaroid pic. Eminem says a lot of weird things. that cookie line was crazy, but regardless, this obviously upset Nick and Mariah. Immediately a Twitter...
obviously it would, bro. You're coming after Nick Cannon's wife. I mean, it's his wife, so... of course he's gonna get upset. Why wouldn't he?
Feud between Nick and Eminem began and got so heated that even Diddy and Dr. Dre had to step in. In the end...
What? Also it's Eminem. Eminem, you gotta at least stay in your ground or try to act like you're, defending yourself, but it's Eminem, bro. Eminem is gonna win every time. It don't matter what you do, bro.
Nick posted a now-deleted Tumblr post saying he would be taking full action on you, Eminem. I don't know why no one has stood up to your bitch ass yet, but I guess it's going to take a corny, whack-rapping boy toy from Nickelodeon to set you straight. And trust, I'm...
So, it's so funny. He's attacking Eminem, using the Eminem route.
going to be relentless.
And making fun of himself first, before Eminem can make fun of him. That's funny. Wow. Also, Nick Cannon, no. I really don't think he will. I mean, it makes sense. Why hasn't anyone stood up to him? I mean, yeah, I feel that same way. But at the same time, there's definitely a reason for that, bro. And then also, if anybody would take down Eminem, it would not be Nick Cannon. And if anybody, it would definitely not be Nick Cannon.
Even though I got a lot of other obligations and occupations, you are my new full-time job, homie. I asked myself, should I go find this bitch and just whoop his little ass? Let's not forget Eminem's amateur mixtape rants of calling African Americans the N-word and how he hates black bitches. How did we let him get away with that in the first place?
When? What did I miss something? When?
He is a natural born racist in disguise. Someone tell this coward that he finally barked up the wrong tree. Before Nick took full action like he said, his new wife Mariah, who at first stayed quiet, dropped her popular song Obsessed, which is a subtle diss against Eminem and his behavior. In the music video, a stalker appeared which heavily resembled Eminem, so it's really funny that this song is low-key an Eminem diss. However, a month later, Eminem dropped his response titled The Warning. This track had a similar vibe to the first diss and had a notable line acknowledging Mariah's track Obsessed when he said, "I got the same exact tat that's on Nick's back. I'm obsessed now. Oh gee, is that supposed to be me in the video with the goatee?" Nick responded positively at first by putting up some...
I remember that. Yeah, I mean, he called out. I mean, it happened, but I didn't know that the diss happened because of Eminem and Nick Cannon. I knew Eminem, but I did not know Nick Cannon was involved. It's crazy.
Bible quotes on social media, but he wasn't finished yet, and about a year later in 2010 dropped his own clapback titled I'm a Slick Rick. You could argue that Eminem's massively loyal fan base had a hand in this, but overall the public reaction was that the song was very bad and a comical excuse of a diss. Even 50 jumped in a few times commenting on the beef as he normally does. Then Nick took things to another.
I don't understand to save my life why someone would pick a fight with him. He's a different kind of animal. I haven't seen a motherfucker come close to beating him, man. Hey, Nick, that shit was trash. I gotta kick you in your ass when I see you, punk. Oh, my God. And Nick Cannon, fucking, yo. Nick Cannon's funny, though, bro. All honesty, Nick Cannon is funny as fuck. There he is. Ooh, I like that. Like... Nick Cannon is actually funny as fuck, but he's a terrible rapper, bro. Don't rap ever again.
He jumped in a few times commenting on the beef as he normally does. Then Nick took things to another level and decided to challenge Eminem to a boxing match in a now deleted post where he said,
yo, Nick Cannon was doing the fucking... He was doing the YouTuber bullshit before the YouTuber bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Motherfuckers got beef, fight me, box me. Like, what, bro? What are we even doing anymore? Nick Cannon, just stop, man.
Dad, the time has come.
There's
Boys
no
talk the talk, but men walk the walk. Nick has laid down the challenge to meet Eminem in the ring. However, not only did Eminem not respond to the boxing match, which wasn't that surprising, he also didn't even acknowledge Nick's I'm Slick Rick diss either. Usually, by not responding, you'd think that might be a sign of losing, but in Eminem's case, most people chalked it up to M being way too big to even worry about what Nick Cannon was saying on Twitter. As the years went by...
Yeah, also, it's... You don't need to respond when everybody thinks that shit was ass. It's the same thing with how the beef with Kendrick and Drake ended, bro. Kendrick didn't feel the need to respond to that last Drake diss, or that last diss that Drake had, because people said that shit was trash. And to be fair, that shit was fucking trash. I don't know what to tell y'all. That shit was fucking... It was horrible, bro. It was horrible. But, yeah. And
Nick separated from Mariah, the guys appeared to have smoothed things over, with Eminem even being invited onto Nick's show Wild 'N Out. However, he never ended up appearing on the show. And this is where things start to get a bit embarrassing.
The last time I saw you, You were getting ready to battle Eminem.
And I'm still ready. This is what I'm saying, Tim.
I'm glad that didn't happen. That would have been horrible. You're in the room, I'm writing for you, but that would have been horrible.
Yo, Tim.
To your face, I would have been there for you, but oh my God, what was he
Listen,
doing?
I'm trying to find him. Where is he?
At this point, the beef was already pretty one-sided, with Nick being the only one keeping it going. And so he appeared to have realized this and fell back for a bit. That was till a couple years later in 2019 when Nick would again bring up the beef during a podcast with T.I.
Man. He didn't want to battle me. It could have went down.
Can you blame him?
And this motherfucker drop a song, like talking shit, like calling her all kind of bitches and hoes. I'm like, this is my wife. This is my new wife.
Ooh.
I got it. Like, and
it was hard. That would have been hard.
Yeah, but you responded and it was worse. So I feel like, to be honest, bro, I wouldn't be surprised if Mariah Carey dumped his ass after the diss. No lie.
Yeah, I wrote a letter first. This was like I believe right when, I don't even know if Twitter had came out yet. It was right during that time when social media just started popping. So I wrote this long ass letter, pretty much saying, look, I respect you as an artist.
Right.
But from man to man, you talking out of pocket to my wife, you got to be held accountable for that. But if you've ever seen Marshall Mathers in person, he's not someone that looked like he really wants to smoke with most.
I don't know.
After Nick talked for years about this beef without Eminem saying a word, Eminem decided to respond on Fat Joe's song Lord Above. M said, I know me and Mariah didn't end on a high note, but that other dude's whipped, that he got him neutered. Tried to tell him this chick's a nut job before he got his jewels clipped. Almost got my caboose kicked. Fool quit, you not gonna do shit. I'd let her chop my balls off too for I lost to you, Nick.
And that is a better diss right there. That's a better diss. And it's not even dissing Mariah Carey, it's just dissing Nick Cannon. Dude, Eminem's a lyrical genius, bro. It don't even matter. I know this is like simple, but dude, I can see it, bro. It's tough right there.
Nick. After this went viral, Nick played it on his show and started making fun of Eminem for his age. Nick said, we should change his name from Eminem to like Percocet. What's the pill that old people take? We gonna call him Cialis. Bring your walker, get out your wheelchair, Eminem, and pop whatever you want to pop. Should I respond back to this? It's not worthy of a response. He also went further and posted online saying, Fat Joe's album is fire. He even did some charity work and dug Eminem out of his grave. I mean, his cave. And he ended the post with another invitation on Wild 'N Out to Grandpa Marshall for a rap battle. But Eminem again did not respond to this, so Nick made another diss track called The Invitation. This time though, Nick came with some pretty serious accusations in his diss, including name-dropping Eminem's ex-wife and daughter, along with the past beef with Mariah when he said, call Kim, somebody get Haley, and that other kid you raising that ain't even your baby. My baby mama killed you off a decade ago. You still crying about it, bitch. Now who really the hoe? Nick also even alleged that Eminem's chauffeur...
That actually wasn't bad, but you just went after Eminem's, you just went after Haley, so... Eminem's definitely going to attack back with something crazy, bro. He's cooking up something crazy.
Got a video of him giving another dude head, and Eminem very quickly took to Twitter with his response, shooting down all the scandalous rumors, especially about the chauffeur. Nick clapped back with his own tweet, and then that same month, he dropped another diss titled Pray For Him. And again, that same month as well, before Eminem even had a chance to respond, Nick dropped another diss called Canceled Invitation. The music video contained a bunch of old clips where Eminem was saying some pretty rough stuff about the black and LGBTQ communities, and while the statements didn't look great on Eminem, I think most of the fans had already had enough of Nick Cannon, and like the comments on his other disses, everyone overwhelmingly clowned him. Nick basically dropped...
Why? He dropped 3 diss tracks that seemed like they were good. I mean, yeah, but it's so old. It's like a decade-old fucking beef, bro.
3 diss tracks in a row with no response from Eminem except for a tweet, and he just started looking desperate for attention. And I think Nick realized this too, because in a 2022 interview with Hip Hop DX, he said, I was a little overzealous, I was a little heavy-handed, and I was legitimately hot and wanted to fight and all. I was a different guy, so I was mad. But at the end of the day, I ain't going to stand for no disrespect either. So in hindsight, I probably would have been a little bit more strategic and let maybe 1 or 2 of them linger. But to me, I showed up with a cannon to a knife fight. So I think he still thinks he won, which is kind of crazy. There haven't been any updates on the situation since then, but after Nick dropped 3 diss tracks to no response all within the same month, I think it's safe to say who won that battle, but I'll leave that up to you guys to decide. And Nick must have been smoking something crazy to think he could beat Eminem in a diss battle, but that doesn't mean that we should be smoking.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, bro, it's Eminem and he's still trying to diss him. I'm surprised Eminem did not respond when he mentioned Haley, though. That is crazy. I thought Eminem would have been cooking up something crazy and responded.
Too. Flavored air is becoming a major alternative when it comes to
Oh my God.
the Journey pack. You'll the time got physical because when Rich the Kid beefed with Lil Uzi Vert,
Yeah, what is this, bro? When did Rich... Excuse me. When did Rich the Kid and Lil Uzi have beef, bro? When did this happen? I missed something. I definitely missed something.
he didn't end up getting that lucky. Around 2018, Rich the Kid and Lil Uzi were both already pretty relevant. So when the two rappers started beefing, everyone took notice. But instead of a bunch of heated diss tracks back and forth, we got something a little bit different. In 2018, Uzi was posting about some label issues he was having with DJ Drama because he signed to his imprint, Generation Now. Uzi dropped some games saying, and if y'all do sign to a major. Don't sign to a rapper. Or a DJ. It's just easier when the time comes for that fake shit. A couple of hours later, Rich the Kid replied, somewhat making fun of Uzi by saying, that's why you should have signed with Rich forever. Uzi very quickly clapped back saying, boy, I'm not signing for 20 racks. Then, 2 days later, Rich posted on his Instagram story, sort of making fun of Uzi.
Hey man, your boss ain't treating you right, your CEO ain't treating you right, man. Come over to Rich Forever Music, you know what I'm saying? Come over to Rich Forever Music.
About a month later, after no response from Uzi, Rich took his offer back. And I don't even know if this was a real offer or not, but it just seemed like Rich was forcing a beef that wasn't even there in the first place.
Right? Yo, if Uzi didn't have a deal, would you sign him?
No.
Why not?
Not right now. Maybe back then.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not now?
Maybe I would sign him on my business, but not, you know what I'm saying, for personal reasons I wouldn't sign him.
Yeah.
About a month later, Uzi came back with a pretty funny and unserious
How no rappers start beef, stealing flows, talking crap, or stabbing each other in the back. How Lil Uzi starts beef. He tags you as a crab.
response, posting a picture with him and a crab, and the crab was tagged as Rich the Kid. Uzi had also recently dyed his hair green, and Rich the Kid had green hair, so he responded saying, oh, look at my son Lil Uzi Vert trying to look just like me. Things started to look especially bad for Rich when the next day he posted a snippet of a diss track on Uzi. In the preview, some lyrics directly tied to Uzi were, your money getting shorter, which is a jab at Uzi's track Money Longer. Then later in the song there was a reference to EXO Tour Life where he says, all them dead friends, you a little middleman, you a little man. Again, while Uzi was seemingly trolling, it just looked like Rich was trying to force it. However, things began to simmer down for a while. That was only until months later, during the week of Rich the Kid's debut album release, when he decided to revisit the beef by fully releasing the Uzi diss track, Dead Friends. This was obviously a move to get a bunch of attention around the album drop, and a bold one at that, especially with what was depicted in the video that dropped later that month. But before the video was dropped, Uzi did respond with a verse on a G Herbo.
I didn't know that. I wasn't there. I wasn't like there for Rich the Kid's fucking like what is it? His debut album, bro. I didn't like see any of this. I didn't know any of this happened.
Song. Uzi said, Rich mad cause you're ate my kids or something. And later, I'm going mode. TY, tell me when to go. Boy, you ain't rich, you a bitch. Rich called the response trash and went through with dropping the craziest music video for Dead Friends. In the video, an Uzi lookalike desperate to sign a record deal is jumped and then buried alive by Rich and his crew. At the same time, Rich also released a remix of 3 6 Mafia's Who Run It track, which included several disses aimed at Uzi. On top of this, in following weeks, Rich continued to keep the beef alive, yelling stuff out at
Damn, bro. He's trying to bring Uzi down, bro. I've never seen a guy so desperate to like bring an artist down, bro. Like, holy shit. He's done everything out of his way to diss Uzi. Still no response yet, though.
Concerts like, that guy Lil Uzi, man. By this point, again, Uzi didn't seem that serious because
like,
someone asked him about the beef and Uzi said, bless Rich and his family. Again, he could have been trolling, but at the end of the day, Uzi was not taking this too serious. For about a month, nothing really came from either side. At least...
Bro, it's been almost a year the beef's been going on, and Uzi still doesn't give a shit about it.
That was until they ran into each other while they were both in Philly performing for the Roots picnic. Basically what happened was Uzi and his crew pulled up on Rich and his crew, seemingly trying to talk things out at first.
Hey, you my friend. Where you trying to get? I know Fred. I know where you at. I know where you at, Fred. I know you at, Fred, but you know. What we doing? Fred. No, it's not. I'm trying to.
Also, he said Lil Uzi and his crew pulled up on Rich the Kid and his crew, but Lil Uzi is literally just there by himself. Just trying to talk things out. He's chill. He's literally just trying to talk it out.
You jumped out the car. It don't matter why you getting crazy, bro. I don't have nothing to say about this.
Many fans pointed out how Uzi was standing there all by himself while Rich was hiding behind his security. After this, though,
Right.
things started to get intense. First, when things got heated, Rich and his crew just took off. Then, Uzi and his crew found Rich at a Starbucks where he was hiding, and hands started flying. At one point after the altercation,
shit.
Rich even resorted to jumping behind the counter with workers at the coffee shop.
God damn.
And finally, after the scuffle, you can see Uzi get back in the whip and ride away. Everything seemed to happen really fast with tons of different people from different angles recording it. Rich immediately hopped online to show off that he and his jewelry were unscathed during the altercation, saying,
Niggas pulled up and did what? Did what?
Just trying to talk tough. Just trying to show that ain't nothing. I don't know.
Walk around Philly like this.
Regardless, this resulted in the entire internet making fun of Rich the Kid, especially since Uzi's like 5'2" and just ran his ass down.
Here today for Monday, June 4th, goes
Yeah.
to Rich Homie the Kid.
Yeah, Lil Uzi is short as fuck. No offense to him. You know, I'm not trying to diss him or nothing. But like, yeah, he's hella short, bro. Getting your ass beat by him, that must be embarrassing, bro. That must be embarrassing.
Kid. Now, if you old like me, then you're
Rich the
content.
Kid.
Rich the Kid, man.
Okay, I'm old. Now we are getting to the reason that the homie Rich is getting donkey of the day. See, somebody swung at Rich, and it looked like they connected, and he immediately jumped behind the counter at Starbucks and started to make a triple mocha frappuccino. Now, maybe he didn't think we were going to see the footage of him jumping behind
Charlemagne, bro. Funny ass dude.
the counter to make an iced Starbucks blonde cold foam cappuccino, and to avoid the wrath of the sassy savage Lil Uzi. Look, Rich Quan. In life, you have to live your truth. When you live your truth, nobody can use your truth against you. I mean, truth is that video of Uzi swinging on you and you jumping behind the counter will be used against you. But when you get online and lie, all witnessed, you get punked by the sassy savage Little Uzi. So please give Rich the Quan Homie the Kid the biggest hee-haw.
His name is Rich the Kid. It's Rich the Kid.
I give up on telling him.
Rich Homie Quan and Rich the Kid. Two different people.
If you say so.
But then for the years following, we wouldn't hear
Okay.
anything about this. Eventually, though, it seemed like the beef was squashed, and Rich spoke about it in an interview.
Rich, I'm just gonna straight ask you, man. Where is you and Uzi Vert's relationship now?
No, we ain't got no beef. We straight. We cool.
So overall, it seemed like throughout the entire beef, Rich was more about the smoke, but when things came in person, he ran and was chased off by the 5'4" Little Uzi Vert, which amongst everything else, including the lying about it online and all that, none of this was a good look for Rich the Kid. And while Rich the Kid got bitched by a little dude, Ice-T got trolled super hard by a very young Soulja Boy. Back in 2007, Soulja Boy blew up from his song Crank That at the young age of just
Soulja Boy
17.
and
Well, he had
Ice-T.
some really catchy songs that performed very well. He also got a lot of hate, especially from the genre's OGs. And while Soulja's been notorious for having tons of beef, none of his other ones were so iconic that they ended up getting their own Boondocks parody. Apparently, it all started when
The Boondocks recreated it? Oh, I didn't even know that, bro.
T was in the studio working
the
on a mixtape.
fuck?
When T got into the booth,
Bro, you know it's a classic historic moment in time. During that period when the Boondocks, like, that period when the Boondocks was, like, on fire, bro. And they were literally, like, doing episodes of, like, real shit that happened. You know it was historic, and it was a great moment in time. When even the Boondocks went and made episodes about it. Oh my god.
some guys he was with started throwing shade, claiming people don't want to hear his stuff anymore, and that they'd rather listen to new artists like Soulja Boy. So obviously he was frustrated, and T let out a pretty funny rant that he had no intentions of actually releasing.
Black Ice, Ice-T, Silver the Navigator, fuck Soulja Boy, eat a dick. This nigga single-handedly killed hip-hop. Soulja Boy, let me talk about Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy, I know you're young enough to be my kid, but you single-handedly kill hip-hop, man. That shit's garbage. And Hurricane, take them fucking beads out your fucking hair, kid. Come on, man up, you niggas. Stop bullshitting. You niggas is making me feel real fucking mad about this shit.
However, unknown to Ice-T, his
No lie, sounds kind of corny. Also, like, hating at hairstyles is crazy. Like, bro, deadass sounded like, in that moment, he deadass sounded like those, like, angry, like, white dads. When you, like, do anything, Like when you do literally anything and they just don't approve of it, that's like literally what he sounds like.
His now ex-associates included the entire rant as the intro track on the mixtape, which went very viral. And since Soulja Boy was not only new to the game but also 17, he felt the need to respond to Ice-T with his own rant. The video starts with Soulja and his boys watching the Ice-T diss. Then about 30 seconds in, Soulja cuts the clip off and starts going in on Ice-T for his age.
Okay, we came up.
Man, fuck all that. Look at here. This nigga Ice-T old as fuck, man. This nigga old enough to be my great grandfather now. He's the forefather of my nuts, nigga. This nigga. Hey, nah, we Wikipedia this nigga. This nigga was born in 1958.
Throughout his response, Soulja.
Damn. God damn, is that true? God damn. Oh my God.
Soulja said a bunch of different things like making fun of him for being old, making fun of him for repping the West Coast while being from New Jersey, and appearing in Law and Order as a
Oh, brother, you're repping in another coast while you're on another coast? Oh my God. That ain't, you can't do that, bro. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get clowned for that. And for being on Law and Order, I mean, being a cop on Law and Order, and then acting gangster in music, oh yeah, that's true.
A cop while being on songs like Cop Killer. There was one part that was especially funny where Soulja got confused and said that Ice-T made NWA's song F the Police, which that was Ice Cube, not Ice-T. Regardless, he threw a 7-minute long barrage of disses, so he was bound to mess up at some point.
How you gonna make a song called Fuck the Police 35 years later, your ass playing the police on TV? Law and Order.
Soulja did claim that it wasn't beef and that he respects Ice-T as a legend, but the things T said forced him to respond. He also explained that in music, you have to adapt to the times because if you don't, you'll fall behind. Soulja was saying that Ice-T, who wasn't doing so great commercially at the time, was just hating on an up-and-comer. Overall, when Soulja wasn't just clowning on Ice, he did make some good points, which appeared to resonate well with the audience, and the situation started looking kind of bad on T.
At the end of this video, though, the point that we're trying to get across with, man, you was wrong for that, man. Think about it in my shoes, man. This time last year, I was poor as fuck. I was in the hood. I was in the ghetto. If what you living is true, you will understand where I'm coming from. Nigga, I wasn't born rich, nigga. I wasn't born in no big ass house like this. Nigga, y'all work to get it. I'm 17 years old, dog. Nigga, I worked hard for this shit. You feel me? Even if it was all this got me out for one song, you should be congratulating. You should be congratulating. Real talk. You should be telling me, congratulations, young brother, get your money. That's what you be saying. That's what you should be saying instead of eat a dick.
In the closing,
real talk, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. Real talk, man. That classic video, bro.
Part of his rant, Soulja said that if Ice-T thinks hip-hop is dying, he should do something to save it, instead of just on the genre's new stars. By this point, believe it or not, 17-year-old Soulja Boy actually looked to be a bit more mature, which you would never expect. However, nobody expected Ice-T's response either.
Hey, what's up? It's Iceberg, man. I want to reply to all this internet drama that's going down, you know what I'm saying? I said something about this kid Soulja Boy while doing a mixtape, you know. The cats took it, you know, they basically were asking me how I felt about it, you know, the state of hip-hop and Soulja Boy, and I went on one. You know what I'm saying? So I apologize, Soulja Boy, for telling you to eat a dick. That was just in anger. You understand? Because truthfully, you know, a brother of my caliber shouldn't be talking down on a youngster your age.
So opening with an apology was a bit of a weird move, but it made a little more sense after T clearly realized he's too big and too old probably to be beefing with Soulja Boy. Ice-T also doubled down saying that Soulja's music was garbage, and he did say that he shouldn't have said what he said, but he also said Soulja
I mean, I could hear the hate in his voice, so I still know. I still had a feeling he would still hate him. But Yeah, I was surprised when he apologized. It sounded like he was not going to apologize.
Shouldn't have responded. He continued by kind of threatening Soulja Boy, claiming that the West Coast, the OGs, and all of hip-hop will go after him if he goes back at Ice-T. Overall, the video didn't really help his case and just made him look a bit worse. And what Soulja Boy did was really funny, because instead of responding with a diss track or some strong words, he put out a animated video on YouTube. Soulja Boy might have been the first rapper to troll another rapper on the internet.
Hey yo, G, this Ice-T. If you 50 years and older, you might remember me. But to everybody 49 years old and younger, I'm Ice-T. Dinosaur turned gangster rapper. You know, cop killer turned cop.
Most viewers thought this response was pretty funny, especially with how serious Ice-T was being beforehand. But eventually the beef just fizzled out. The situation was so talked about that even the Boondocks made a parody episode about the beef.
Now what about Sergeant Gutter? Man, Sergeant Gutter, that nigga can eat a dick. Hold on. Wow.
Fuck this old ass nigga, man. This old nigga is old enough to be my dad. And he tell me to eat a dick? Nigga, what's wrong with you? You a grown ass man. Telling a 15-year-old to eat a dick? I know your mother raised you better than that, dog. Matter of fact, excuse me, is this Miss Jenkins? Yes, it is. My name is Sergeant Gutter. And I don't know if you aware, but your son said some very rude things about me on the radio.
Yes, I know. He said some very rude things. He's too old to be acting like that, and I know I don't like it using that language either.
I don't know why the first clip is so low res, my apologies, but you guys get the point. Eventually, everything fizzled out, but in 2014, Ice-T finally reflected further on the beef with DJ Vlad. In this interview, he mostly explained how the beef was never meant to be personal.
And I just felt that they were taking the bar so low on hip-hop, not just that kid, but other kids too, that I was like, yo, man, we worked so hard to get this to this point. Let's keep it fly. It wasn't a direct thing on...
Yeah, but it's changing, bro. People don't want to hear the same shit every now. Like, throughout time, nobody wants to hear the same shit over and over and over again, bro. Shit is gonna change. Like, come on.
This kid, because I only heard probably one record. I don't even know. I kind of regret it. I said it because it turned me into a person that seemed like I wanted beef. And that's really not my style. Yeah. You know, people felt I got up out of the bed and went in on him.
It seemed like he genuinely realized that he had made some mistakes and regretted it. So in the end, it looks like long-term, no one's career was really negatively affected by this. But at the time, things did not look great for Ice-T when he was definitely punching down on a new artist. I want to put out a honorable mention in this video for Ja Rule and 50 Cent. Most of their beef wasn't that funny or embarrassing or whatever you want to call it. But I will say, in 2018, when 50 Cent allegedly bought 200 front row seats to ensure that Ja Rule's show...
That was the craziest shit ever. Yo, 50 Cent is the biggest troll in history. It don't matter.
Would be empty in the front. That was pretty funny and didn't look so great for Ja Rule. Regardless though, if you like this video, you might like my video about hip-hop's most embarrassing albums. Another one where we look into some, you know, embarrassing moments. Again, if you liked it, make sure to leave a like or even consider subscribing now.
Another W video. Subscribe to Matty Bones. You know, shout out him. Another W video, man.